Hey guys, it's Barrett with the Gimpy Camper. On this week's episode, what we're going to do is we're going to explore a route that we took based on the Guide Along app, formerly known as the Gypsy app. On our last travel video, we actually did the Needles Highway loop, and with this we did a separate loop. We actually started at Deadwood and went through Lead and Spearfish Canyon. I believe that you can do it all in one day if you do one really long day, but I would suggest splitting it up into a couple of days. We did, I think, miss out on a little bit because we didn't start our Deadwood journey in Rapid City. We actually took the interstate straight down to Deadwood because it saved us a little bit of time, but apparently it did actually start that tour in Rapid City, so that's where I would go to start. So like I said, we did start our trip there in Deadwood. However, the tour did pick up there for us as we started driving through some of those GPS points. And we started by taking a quick drive down Main Street just to kind of see what was around and figure out if we wanted to stop now or if we were going to come back later. But as we decided we were going to actually do the route that's recommended by the Guide Along app, we did go ahead and stop. Now, while we were trying to make that decision, we did see the sign for Moriah Cemetery, which is where Wild Bill Hickok is buried. And so that's one of the things that we wanted to do. So we did go ahead and take that turn and go see that first. Now, I will say that there's people driving up there and walking up there. That's a walk. I mean, it is a walk straight up the side of a mountain. So if you're not in the best shape and you don't want to do that walk, you can drive all the way to the top. And the biggest issue that we had there at the cemetery is they're not pet friendly. They do charge $2 per person to enter the cemetery and look around, but they weren't dog friendly and we had the dog with us. And so one of us did have to stay outside the cemetery while the other went in and saw what we wanted to see and come back. Now that did lead to me not being able to see the Deadwood overlook that I wanted to go and see because it's on the other side of the cemetery and I knew my wife was waiting on me, so I didn't want to take that much time. But I did go see the gravesite of Wild Bill Hickok, and I went and saw the gravesite right next to him of Calamity Jane. I will say that overall the city of Deadwood seems to be pretty dog friendly. There were a lot of dog bowls in the street with water. Just, every other store there'd be a dog bowl. One of them even had this big electronic fountain thing that had a bunch of ice water in it. My dog, who was really picky, didn't want any of that water, but she got some of the ice water. Now, we did decide to eat at Mustang Sallys as it was highly recommended in the Facebook posting that we'd seen. And they had outdoor seating, and so we thought we would go there. It was pretty good. It's more of a burger joint. I had some hot wings because I wasn't really in a burger mood, and they were pretty good. I will say that they were also very dog friendly, and they even asked if they could bring the dog a bowl of water, so they brought her own bowl of water. And I'd never seen that anywhere before, so I thought that that was great, and it was really good service that we had there as well. After we ate, we did go explore Main Street for a little while. I was kind of bummed that we didn't see no killing. During the week they do have routine killings, shootouts in the street there at certain times. And it actually worked out that it was happening right whenever we were eating. And it was kind of just far enough away that we could see that there was a crowd, but we couldn't actually see what's going on. And by the time we got done eating and stuff and did our tour around Main Street there, it's going to be another hour before we could see any more killing. So we just decided to go on and get back in the truck and continue our tour. Now, when we got back to the truck, we decided to head up to Lead. It was a nice little drive and some rather different kind of history that the Guide Along app was giving us there about their town culture and stuff now, and some different scientific stuff that's going on there. So that was really interesting. I do recommend listening to the tour there. After Lead, we started descending downward toward the Spearfish Canyon, and it's hard to believe that this route was used by stagecoaches and then a little bit later a train. On the tour, they actually stated that the wagons used to lock their wheels through here and actually drag the wheels, make them skid down the hill so they could maintain more control. And I thought that was really neat and really scary at the same time. I wouldn't want to be doing that. After getting down into Spearfish Canyon, we did stop by Bridal Falls, which is right beside the highway. And there's a beautiful platform area there over the creek that you can stop and look at. And we took some pictures there. It was just a great little spot to stop. After you get down into Spearfish Canyon as well, there's a sign about dances with wolves. So we took that road. It's a little forest road. It's a couple miles down a gravel road. You go back in there and there's a sign there marking where they filmed some of Dances with Wolves. We're bad parents. My daughters never saw that, but we rectified that last night and watched it from here at the Badlands. And so, you know, that it is kind of a neat area. There's not a lot there. Basically, it's, you know, you're in this canyon and there's a couple of mountain cliffs beside you. Apparently a lot of that scene, it's the scene there at the end of the movie when he like leaves the Indian tribe, and that was shot there. But a lot of that is from the vantage point of being up on the cliff, and so it didn't really look that familiar. But after we went back and watched the video, granted it was winter time, but you could definitely see that it was the same area. But right now in good weather, basically there's just the sign there and a little bit of a stream and just a bunch of trees. That's really all you could see. So that pretty much concluded our tour as we got down to the town of Spearfish. Like I say, we did get back on the interstate from there, took the road over the interstate, went back to Rapid City, and then back over to Custer because the GPS said that was the fastest route to Custer through there. And we set our sights on doing the wildlife tour because it was a little bit later than I had expected and it was already starting to get dusk. And so we went back over the wildlife loop road, and so we went over there. We did see the bison again. We did see the burros again, and my wife fed them the rest of the apples that we still had in the truck from a few days ago. But we went down there. All that was great. We also ran into some antelope, and my wife got some pictures of them, and she got some pictures of them running because somebody was like flying down the road and scared them, and they got yelled at by my wife too for, y'all ought not be driving down this road this fast because of all the animals. And then I decided to pull over after we saw the burros for a little while just to let the dog out in the field so she could use the bathroom. And right where we pulled over, there just happened to be a bunch of prairie dogs, a little prairie dog town there. So while we were taking pictures of them and stuff, they weren't on the other side of the road, so my daughter took the dog over there. But we got some pretty good pictures of the prairie dogs there. And that was kind of interesting. That's actually when we were stopped there is when the antelope came up, and we got some pictures of them as well. We didn't see as many antelope this time as we usually do. And here in the Badlands, at least, we didn't see as many bighorn sheep as we usually do. So then, as we were leaving, I decided to do the Iron Mountain Trail, and it was kind of dusk at this time. And I was driving, and I'd been down this road twice. Granted, one time was 2 years ago, and the other time was this week. And I was driving, I was like, this just doesn't feel right. So I turned around and went the other way when we came out of the Wildlife Loop Road. And I was like, well, this definitely isn't right. And after we drove 4 or 5 miles that way, instead of just turning the Guide-Along app back on and letting it tell us what to do, we just were hard-headed. So then I just turned on the GPS. I was like, well, I'm just going to drive back to the Badlands. We'll go back to the camper because it's getting late. And so I turned around. It wanted me to turn around and go the same way that I just came. So I turned around and we drove like 5 miles back to where we started. And we kind of backtracked that whole area, and then I saw what was obviously the Iron Mountain Trail, so I turned off on there and didn't really tell my wife about it. She's not the best with old car sick and curves and all that stuff. And we're driving through there, and she said, "We've already been here." And I was like, "Yeah," because she saw a sign. I was like, "But we hadn't been here tonight, have we?" Because I'm thinking at this time I done got turned around so many times. Please tell me we didn't drive in a circle. She said, No, we hadn't been here tonight, but we've definitely been here. I said, yeah, because I want to go see Mount Rushmore in the dark. And so we went up there. You know, I was thinking we'd probably get some pretty good pictures with our good zoom lens and stuff. You know, I'm not the best at manually focusing and setting the ISOs and all that. So I usually do shoot the camera on autofocus. And after about 100 pictures, I think I got like 4 or 5 that you could actually make out what was going on there. I'm sure it would have definitely been better if I would have tried to autofocus, but it was kind of late. We didn't get back to the camper here till about midnight, but it was a great day, seeing some great sights, and I highly recommend that area for anybody that's not seen it. You know, I would definitely do Needles Highway first, and I would do the Badlands area here first, but if you have time, I think that whole Spearfish Canyon, Deadwood, it's a really neat area to explore with the history and stuff there. So thanks guys for being part of our family. Thanks for joining this week's video. Be sure to stick around for next week's video and hit that like and subscribe for us. Help us share our content. Thank you very much.
Do not forget to hit that subscribe button.